Hi, everyone. Sorry I missed my intro. I'm Caroline Hennessy. I am the Senior Manager of Digital Marketing and PR at Quarles & Brady. We are a 500 attorney firm with 11 offices, and I've got a pretty good size marketing team. So if you have some content marketing FOMO, fear of missing out, I'm hoping to assuage some of your fears by showing you some of the strategies that I've used successfully. So recently, earlier this year, we embarked upon a content marketing campaign, and we had some significant success. 5 new clients, 2 national speaking opportunities, and a licensing agreement with a national niche publication. Would you say this was pretty good results for a 6-month campaign? Well, we thought so. But you're already marketing content, so let's talk about how to make the best of it. My goal today is to deconstruct and demystify the process. Set goals, track, assess, refine, and do it again, but better. So what is content marketing? I've put the Content Marketing Institute's definition up here. Strategic marketing approach focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience. That's my emphasis there. And ultimately to drive customer action. So I think in our industry, we often don't see content marketing as a viable tool. We've got a lot of rules, a lot of ethics rules. We've got attorneys with competing deadlines, competing goals. We're often communicating to so many different audiences. So I'm here to tell you that you can use content marketing strategies to affect the bottom line. And it has all to do with focus and a keen eye on the data. Now, the number one topic of conversation I have with attorneys has to do with focus. I'll be working with them on their bios, and we'll talk about how to hone in on their unique experience. And I'll often hear, well, I don't just do that. I don't want to pigeonhole myself. Does this sound familiar? Or you're putting out a client alert or doing a webinar, and you need to know, what mailing list you should use or who's your target audience. And you'll hear, well, every company needs to know about this. Send it to everybody. Well, if we're not focusing, we're spinning our wheels. Our messages aren't resonating with anybody. We really need to focus in on that target audience. A targeted campaign can really be your best friend. I forgot to say that. So what is a campaign? Again, another definition. Connected series of operations designed to bring about a particular result. So a content marketing campaign can give you structure for all the content marketing that you're doing. A campaign has a beginning and an end. So the potential elements in a campaign are all the things you're probably already using. Articles, webinars, tip sheets, whatever it is, whatever the valuable content is. This is part of your campaign. And the content marketing thing too is you need to have a specific idea for what you're going to do with each piece of content. It's not one size fits all. The most important thing you can do is select the right initiative. And in my experience, there's 3 very key components. First one is to have committed attorneys. You cannot do this without committed attorneys. Attorneys that are ready, willing, and able to create useful content. That's a subject for a whole other TED Talk, right? Useful content, willing to act on leads, willing to step out of their comfort zone. Perhaps they have to record a video. Perhaps they'll have to speak with the press. They've got to be willing to put in some real time. Number 2, a viable target audience. Again, back to the focus. Is this an audience that exists out there? Is it too broad? Is it too narrow? Look in your email marketing database. Look in your CRM system. Are the right titles of individuals in there that you're going to send this content to? Look on LinkedIn, same thing. Look under the titles. Can you find these people on LinkedIn? What groups do they belong to? What publications are they reading? Goals. Third thing, you have to have goals, not pie-in-the-sky goals. The best key performance indicator, of course, best KPI is a client in the door, but that's often outside of our control. What we can own is lead generation. I'm going to give you another example of a campaign that I'm working on recently. We had a new lateral come in, and one of the directors came to me and said, I need some PR for this new lateral. And to me, what she was saying is, I need some media relations. But what I'm hearing is, there's a whole lot more I can do in PR than just media relations. She had a key practice area in one of our sweet spots in intellectual property. It's all about China, counterfeits, tariffs. It's all in the news right now. So I got my spidey senses and I'm thinking, okay, let's talk about this. Are they committed attorneys? Do we have a viable target audience? What are our goals? This looks like it's going to be a great campaign. But the most important factor is what are we going to do with all these leads that we generate? I need to work with the biz dev folks. If you have a small team, then maybe it's all you. But often there's leads generated and everybody just walks away. Okay, we drove them to the website or they downloaded a white paper or whatever they did. You have to have an action plan for how you're going to develop these leads. Now, the biz dev folks, they are experienced in figuring out how to prioritize the leads. Maybe there's a handful that get personal messages. Not everybody needs to get the thanks for coming to the seminar, here's our survey. They get perhaps some targeted emails from the attorney. That's a very key factor, and I feel like that's the missing component in a lot of the marketing and business development that we do. So now, choosing your channels. We've got, you got your initiative. How do you reach your target audience? You've got earned, owned, shared, and paid media. These all require resources, people, money. Your website will likely be your main channel, but what social properties are going to produce results? Earned, of course, requires more effort, but we know that our target audience finds it of high value, the quotes in publications. Third-party credibility. Owned, like your website, blogs, and email, you easily can control it. You got lots of good data, but more and more you need to drive people to that site, and you might need to do some search engine marketing. Same with shared, with your social properties. An obvious component to your campaigns, but organic is limited these days. Not everybody's seeing your stuff. You have to start considering some paid search, paid social. For instance, if the data shows that legal updates are driving traffic to your site, obviously that should be part of your outreach. In my example, our mailing list was not going. Legal updates were perfect. They definitely drove traffic to the site, but our email list was not going to expand our audience. So when we had a good piece of content that was cutting edge news, we pitched it out to some editors. Editors published it for their audiences. So we had a win-win there, right? We also had LinkedIn sponsored posts. Again, we had to tailor each piece of content. It wasn't one size fits all, even for this same campaign, because within the same campaign, often there's sub-audiences. So these sponsored posts are only served up to to the individuals that we're targeting. They're not on the company's timeline. So you're not seeing a bunch of posts like this. They're only served up to the people who need to see it. And you only pay if they click. So it's perfect. You know you've hit your target, you know you've reached your goal, you've got the data to prove it. Setting goals and measurements. I've listed here a bunch of the standard goals. What do you want people to do? Click, download a white paper, subscribe to a mailing list, all that. In my book, it's traffic to the website and it's clicking to contact an attorney. That is the ultimate to me. Click to call, click to email. In my example, one of our goals was also to raise the attorney's profile by ranking higher in search engine results. Not easy, of course, but we embarked upon some search engine marketing. And yes, it worked. Now, the data makes more sense when you have something to track. It might seem obvious, but you need to really have some good tracking and reporting systems. It will likely be a combination of your email marketing statistics, your web metrics, your social metrics. stay on top of that. There are tools out there that help you track it, but there's no easy button. You need to log each piece of content and follow it for what you're measuring. I also recommend a content calendar. Most of you are probably familiar with that. It just keeps everyone informed. Get commitments from attorneys on what they're willing to create. Set some deadlines. You want a constant stream of content to this target audience. And it's ideally you'll have some evergreen content, like a top 10 piece or something that you can throw in, because there is going to be deadlines missed. Clients' work is going to come first, and you want to have that consistent message, consistent stream of content. Now, the cool thing also about email, about digital marketing, is that you don't wait until the campaign is done to assess. Early assessment, track, assess, refine, do it again, but better. So in my example, our email marketing campaign, we realized that our email layout was affecting the click-throughs to the website. So the first piece of content was getting the most clicks, the second piece of content was getting the second most clicks, and we knew that there was some specific types of content that traditionally had a lot of interest that weren't getting clicked. So we refined our layout to give each piece of content equal treatment, spiffed it up with some visuals, saw immediate results. To me, that's just the funnest thing in the world. As soon as we have an email go out, my digital coordinator has the Future dashboard open, and I've got open my Google Analytics dashboard, and we're watching the numbers come in to see if our hypothesis was correct. And luckily, in this case, it was. So it was very cool. So even the most basic content marketing campaign can yield results because you're creating laser-focused content, you've agreed on the measurements, and you're tracking it. Use your marketing team to help you package the results and share it with leadership. You're not sharing these endless spreadsheets and Excel sheets and click-throughs and all that junk. You want to give them just the meaty stuff that you want to help educate them with. Firm leadership places high value on data. So demystify the process and share your results. So in closing, I'll say what my boss said to me. No one is going to ask you to create a content marketing campaign. It's up to us to educate our colleagues, educate leadership, educate ourselves on the tactics that can help drive business. So go out there and go for it. Thank you.